I think I've told this story before, and probably you've heard it before, but anyway, I'm going to tell it again anyway. This is talking about Jewish identity, right? Abraham began Jewish identity. Here's a story about Jewish identity. Once there was a Jew, a smart Jew, and he was very clever and etc. But he didn't think he received from his friends and his surrounding and his teachers the attention that he deserved. Whatever the cause of his discontent, he started hanging around with all sorts of weird people until finally he met, like in a park or something, he met a priest. And he started talking to the priest, and the priest was, "Oh, you're just so wonderful. You're so smart. You're so great. You're so." The priest understood who he's dealing with over here. The person was simply, how do you say, addicted to attention. He had to have attention. He said, "You should give a lecture in front of the other priests." And eventually he brought him in, and this brother Stanley, Stanley became Brother Stanley. He changed his religion, became a Catholic. Catholic. And he went to the catechism courses or whatever they call it, and he was learning. And basically, all the other priests started to really hate him because he changed his religion, but he didn't change his personality. He still had this tremendous desire that he had to be the center of attention all the time. So he was always making these, quips and jokes, and the bishop was always laughing and chuckling at what he said. And like the kid who brings the apple to the teacher. So all the other priests are like, they can't stand him, but they can't say anything to the bishop because the bishop really likes him. He says like, he praises the bishop, and he says jokes about the bishop, makes him laugh. And so they're always watching him and trying to get something out of him. So they're watching him and observing him. So they even bore a little hole in the wall of his room to see what he's doing. Now, it used to be a thing in the Catholic Church that they did not used to eat meat on Friday. I remember I had friends and kids in school. They didn't eat meat on Friday. That was the thing. I think they negated that law. I don't think they still do that anymore. But anyway, that's the way it used to be. Maybe it's still, who knows. So they would peek into this brother Stanley's room to see what he's doing. And sure enough, one of them notices that on Friday, he would go into his room and lock the door. And he would take out a little box, and he would take out a chicken leg, and he would eat the chicken leg. Ooh, this is a big sin. He's eating meat on Friday. So they go to the bishop and they say, "Your Majesty, Your Holiness, Your Highness, whatever, we saw Brother Stanley eating a chicken leg." They say, "No, it can't be. Brother Stanley is no more devoted. No, who's more devoted and religious, and and to the church, to this, then Brother Stanley. He has a right to defend himself." So they bring Brother Stanley, and he says, "Your honest, Your Majesty, Your Holiness, this I would eat meat. Stanley, I've given up everything I have just to do what the church says. I would never think of eating meat. It would never even would come into my mouth. It would never come into my mind, into my room. Never. What are you talking about?" So the others, they realize they got to do something. So the bishop says, "Listen, he denies it, and we have to believe it." So the next Friday, so one priest is hiding under his bed, and another one is hiding behind the curtains, and another one's hiding behind his drawer, his closet, whatever closet. And sure enough, Brother Stanley comes into the room, and he closes the door and locks it, and takes out his little box, and he sits down, and with a heavenly look on his face, and he eats them. Immediately they jump out from where they are, grab a hold of him, put they already prepared it, a special thing around his mouth, a special gag around his with a little hole in it so that the bone is coming out of his mouth, and they take him to the bishop. And they say, "Your honesty, Your Majesty, Your Holiness, Your greatness, Your excellence, here we got him. We caught him. He's got a bone of a chicken in his mouth. He ate chicken. Here he is. We caught him in the act." So the Stanley says, So the bishop says, "Okay, we have to let him try to defend himself." They say, please don't let him defend himself. He's clever. He's tricky. This guy is a Jew in his essence. You can't get this away from him. We have to evict him. We have to punish him. We have to do something. So he said, let's hear what he has to say. So they take it off, and they take the buna. He swallows the meat, right? I mean, if they kick him out, at least he swallowed the meat. He swallows the meat. He says, "Your Majesty, Your Holiness, I did not eat meat." All the other priests are saying, "Whoa, look at this." And the bishop says, but Brother Stanley, I saw you eat the meat. Let me see this bone. It's a chicken bone. It's not, this is meat. It's not whatever it is, ice cream bar or something. You ate meat. So let me explain. I said, the day, I'll never forget that day, the glorious day when I converted myself to be a Catholic. They took me down into the holy anointing room, and they took the holy anointing brush and they put it into the holy anointing water, and they sprinkled it on me, and they said, "You are a Catholic, you are a Catholic, you are a Catholic." And from then I became a Catholic. I said, but what? I have this big desire to eat meat. I really like to eat meat. And, for some reason on Friday, Friday, nobody's watching me, it's a sort of preparation day. So, but I'm not going to eat meat. Meat, that's forbidden. I know it's forbidden. It's against it's against the Lord. It's against the whole. So what did I do? What do I do? Every Thursday night, I take a piece of meat, a chicken leg, and I go down into the holy anointing room, and I take the holy anointing brush, and I stick it in the holy anointing water, and I sprinkle it on the chicken leg and say, "You are a potato. You are a potato. You are a potato." And therefore, I'm only eating potato. I'm not eating. What's the point? Just like a potato, a piece of chicken leg cannot become a potato, no matter what you do to it. A Jew cannot become anything other than a Jew by sprinkling water on him, by making declarations. Makes no difference. A Jew, in his essence, is a Jew. Have a good Shabbat with Mashiach now. That's what we inherited from Abraham, our true, unchanging identity.